I'm going to call the meeting to order of the November 15th. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please observe a moment of silence.
Before we do that, I'd like to recognize the passing of Kent Quarles of Tonganoxie. He's probably a lifelong resident in Leavenworth County. Served on school board many years in Tonganoxie. He was a really good person.
Thank you. Roll call, beginning with myself, Vicki Cos. I am present. Commissioner Doug Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Stephen.
Here.
Commissioner Culberson.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Smith.
Here.
We are all present and accounted for. Okay, administrative business. Mr. Lothry, do you have anything for us today?
I got one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to apologize to employees. I think last week in the meeting there were some accusations made that they could have done their job a little better on the Tongi annexation. And I don't believe that, and I should have defended the employees, and I apologize for not doing that.
Thank you.
Just to comment on that.
Sure.
There was no intent for any disparagement of the employees, but the intent was that we get everybody together on the same page on these issues down in Tonganoxie, and that's what I was referring to. So there was no intent of any disparagement of any county employees.
Well, it was said about the county employees, and Mike, I'm not saying that this is your fault because you don't go to the city council meeting to find out what's going on, but it definitely wasn't the employees' fault. But I'm not accusing you either.
Well, I do attend many council meetings, but I did meet with George from Tonganoxie last week. I'm trying to set up a meeting so we can talk about this privately, and then we can advance it to the commission. I think if we work together, I think that's the best approach.
Okay, good. Well, we do have a letter that, if everybody hasn't signed it yet, needs to be signed so that we can get it sent on over to the city of Tonganoxie. So that needs to be taken care of in today's business if nobody has already done that. Thank you.
I got something.
Okay, Jeff?
Would you talk closer to the mic here?
I wanted to bring up the letters that we sent out, informational letters on LAVTR with the tax statements. We're getting a lot of phone calls and emails to avoid any serial meeting regulation breaks. I thought maybe we should designate somebody to handle those, the ones that go directly to the BOCC. We don't really know who's going to answer them, so if we end up all answering them, then we're in violation. So if you guys want, you can forward those all to me, and then I can answer it.
Well, I don't have a problem with forwarding them to you.
You're creator of the letter.
You'll get all the BOCCs. I mean, we'll get them.
Okay, because some of them go directly. Like I'll get some to me, and then I get some to BOCC.
And that's the ones
so
I respond to me.
Yeah.
And so,
Jeff.
instead of trying to figure out some kind of system to where you take one and you take one and you take one, just send them all to me if you want, and then I'll answer them.
Sounds like a plan.
So we don't violate any regulations.
Okay.
Okay.
So it might be worth talking a little bit about property taxes for just 1 minute, because the fact is that a lot of people are still confused about property taxes, believing that the county is the source of the main driver of the property tax. And the fact is, if you look at your property tax statement, you'll see the percentages of what government entities are driving your property tax. And typically 40 to 60% of your ad valorem property taxes are your school districts. The county is a much smaller, 25 to 30% is the county, and then if you're in a city, it's whatever percentage that municipality levies. I think a lot of people, because your letter says Leavenworth County, you're thinking the commissioners control that, and they do not. And the other part of that is that while we hire the appraiser, we do not control the appraiser. It's the Property Valuation Division of the Kansas Department of Revenue that regulates the appraiser across the hall. He follows their rules and regulations, and the commissioners cannot change those. That is set by statute. And if there's going to be changes, it's going to have to be made by our legislators.
Thank you.
A nice change would be you write a check to the school district and then you write a check to the county to their portion. But that would just be a nightmare, I know.
Okay, well,
We could probably better get on to.
yes. Why don't we
We could
move on
talk
to our
about that all
consent
day.
agenda? If there's nothing that needs to be removed from the check registry, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Motion is second. I'll begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, we have down to the formal board action, the general election canvass. We now need to consider a motion to adopt as the board, or to adjourn, as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of County Canvassers. Do I have a
I
motion?
move that we adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of County Canvassers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 We are adjourned as the County Commission and are now in as the Board of County Canvassers, and we will turn this over to our clerk.
Good morning, Commissioners. November 7th, we had the general election for City School. We had a question in USD 469. We had some positions that had to be filled by write-ins, so those items we will go over today. We had 10,191 people vote in the election. It was a 19% turnout. We were able to count 49 ballots considered late mail because they were delivered to the polling place or they were received in the mail up until Friday with the postmark of Election Day or before. So we did have 49 late ballots that we did count. We saw no manifest errors throughout the election, but we do have one race that these provisionals will make a difference on, and that is Lansing Ward 4. We had two candidates that filed, Greg Bueller and Pete Robinson. Currently, without the provisionals being counted, their votes are 246 each. I don't normally bring up the provisional ballots, but I did think that it was appropriate to bring them today so that the public would know exactly what we're doing. Lansing Ward 3 and 4 vote at St. Francis de Sales Church. There were 7 provisionals at that polling location. They've not been counted, nor do I know what the votes are. But in researching each one, which we're required to do, we've determined that one of the ballots were rejected because they had moved out of the county and were canceled in the voter. And they must be registered in Leavenworth County in order to be accepted, and me recommending qualification. So that one I recommend rejecting that. So that left us 6 provisional ballots in at St. Francis de Sales Church. Also in reviewing them, it was noted that 3 of these ballots are, they voted the Lansing Ward 3 ballot, and 3 of the provisionals voted the Lansing Ward 4 ballot. So there will be 3 ballots that we will run through our scanner to determine the official count for Lansing Ward 4. You will have to make a motion to follow my recommendation in recommending qualified and recommending rejected for all provisionals. Total in the county, we had we had 78 provisionals throughout the county for this election, 52 of which were qualified, that we will also be running through the scanner to come up with the official results, and 26 which were rejected. Out of the 26, 22 of the voters were not registered at all in Leavenworth County, so they would not count. I had one voter that registered after the close of registration, which would be the same as not being registered by the deadline. I had one that did not provide proof of citizenship. We called that voter because with the regulations, if that voter would have brought in their ID, taken a picture of it, sent it to us, we would have been able to accept their provisional ballot as being qualified. But they chose not to do that. But we did do our due diligence in reaching out to that voter, which we do with anything that is within question. If we question a signature, if we question something on a provisional ballot, we do reach out to that voter to try to determine what the scenario might be. Before we count the provisionals and we make the official certification of the election, part of that will be these write-ins. Our first write-in was USD 464, position 1. No one filed for that office, and so we, of course, counted the write-ins. We had heard of 2 individuals that were interested in filling that position. Linda Vernon had 324 votes. Amy Dale had 260 votes, and there was 106 other write-ins, but no one reached the count that either one of these individuals did. So part of the election will be to have Linda Vernon fill the position number 1 in USD 464. The other write-ins that we have to consider would be for Easton City Council. Easton City Council had a mayor and 5 council people that were up for election this time. We had 2 people file for Easton City Council, so that still left 3 write-in positions for the 3 vacancies on the Easton City Council, and no one filed for the mayor. So we counted those write-ins, and it was determined that Phil Myers would be the mayor of Easton, and the 3 council members that received the most votes were Shannon Hadley, Tammy Connell, and Sonny Trader. So part of your certification will also be for the appointment of those 3 folks, or 4, into Easton City Council and Mayor. The other write-in position that had to be looked at is Linwood City Council. There were 3 openings in Linwood City Council, 2 of which were filed for, and one was, there was only 2 people filed out of the 3 available seats. The person that received the most votes in the city of Linwood to be on the city council was Tina Rainier. And so she would move on to that position. Does anyone have any questions when it comes to the election?
Any questions, Commissioner Stephen?
You said that one of the ballots was rejected because they moved out of the county. How do you determine that, or how does that?
Because they're registered in another county.
Oh, they're
and our system is statewide, and so we were able to review that.
Okay, that's all I have.
No other questions? Okay. Do we need to move on to allow her, or can we?
So if you would make a motion to qualify or to accept the qualifications on the provisionals, I can move ahead and go down and count those and bring up the official results.
I move that we accept the provisionals as recommended by the county clerk.
Second.
Motion is second. Voting with myself, aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. And rather than take a break, should we
Go back.
reconvene and then?
open, yeah.
Right, and then go on back so we can conduct the rest of our business.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn as the Board of County Canvassers and return to our regular session.
Second.
Motion is second. I'll begin voting with myself, aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, we are back operating as the Board of County Commissioners, and then when the county clerk finishes, then we will reconvene as the Board of County Canvassers. So anyone that would like to go and witness the process downstairs with the clerk, you can do so now, or you're welcome to stay and watch the rest of the business with the county. All right. Let's see. Pardon? Right. Okay. We need to consider a motion to approve a contract renewal with Synergy Energy Solutions for natural gas service at the Cushing Building. Come on up, Aaron. Thank you for.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you? What you have before you is a quote proposal from Symmetry, who currently provides our natural gas for Cushing Building. What they have proposed is holding the current price for the 24 calendar year as well as the 25 calendar year. It is my recommendation to move forward with Symmetry. We have not had any issues with them providing gas in the quantities that we need, as well as notifying us when there are freezes, and you would be charged extra. If you go above and beyond, we get plenty of notification from them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions for
And,
Mr. Yoakum?
I'll make a motion to approve contract renewal with Synergy Energy Solutions for natural gas service at the Cushing Building.
Second.
Motion and second.
That's a two-year
further
contract.
discussion is a
2 years.
two-year contract.
contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I'll begin voting for myself, aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
We need to consider a motion to approve an agreement with Bennett to allow them to pay Donlinger Construction directly for repairs to Bridge F46.
Today, Commissioners, for your consideration is a approval agreement with Benish Engineering, and it is to allow them to pay for the repairs that are necessary that were due to their errors in design on bridge number F46. This bridge is located on 166th Street, north of US 24 or State Avenue, on the west side of the city of Basehor. Design errors resulted in the newly constructed F46 bridge to not meet the contractually required and designed certified HL93 load rating. This load rating is verified through a engineering program. This is not something the county staff would review in a general plan review. This is entirely what you hire a professional services consultant to design for you. When we got to the point where the bridge was constructed, they did the load rating analysis in order to enter it into the KDOT portal and provided us the form work. The form work did not coincide with the design criteria of the project. The bridge is currently posted for load, despite being brand new, and the result was we've been in this negotiation and demand period for quite a while, I would say approximately a year with Benish in order to come to this conclusion. What they are proposing is to place 2 additional beams underneath each railing. There is a 4-foot cantilevered railing on this bridge. Basically, your outside beam sits 4 foot from the outside of your bridge. We did have email documentation questioning the design prior to the project that they confirmed was adequate to meet the required load rating for the project. It did not appear to meet KDOT low-cost bridge standards when they went to construct it. That is what we were questioning them about. And at the time, they felt that they had increased the beam size enough to handle that additional load, which in fact they did not. This repair would most closely resemble a beam replacement in a parking garage. There is room on the outside of that abutment, albeit they're going to have to figure out how to set a beam from underneath the bridge of a bridge that's already constructed, but it is very close to a repair that would be done inside of a parking garage where you have a sloped grade at the bottom of that bridge deck is at a 2% grade, so they will have to pump in an epoxy with 0 shrinkage into that gap with a fillet in order to have a continuous connection with the bridge deck and the beam. Finney and Turnipseed, who has acted many times on behalf of the county here recently in bridge designs and in our last bridge inspections, was hired to review Benish's plan to ensure that the repairs would not decrease the lifespan of the structure and would meet the required HL93 load rating. And they did approve of the plan. There are some questions with the constructability of it as far as how are they going to lift a beam up into place, but that is part of what they are working on with Donlinger Construction. Total cost is $71,000 that they will be paying directly to Donlinger. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Never thought I'd see the day that we have to repair a brand new bridge.
Never did I think we'd see the day where we have a professional services contractor who designed 6 bridges and 5 of them were incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, need to speak
My concern is 10 years down the road on our biannual inspection, if they say, we're all of a sudden down, our rating's down to 47% or something. I mean,
Yeah.
The alternative to this repair would be to either remove the structure or remove the deck and replace it. The bridge is a galvanized steel beam bridge, which I would personally not ever recommend. This was designed prior to my employment here at Leavenworth County, but would not recommend to the board that we design galvanized structures. If you're going to build a steel structure, you want to use weathering steel.
Yes.
But hindsight, obviously, is 20/20 in some of these things, and some of these things were outside of it. There wasn't probably anyone here that was part of this project. But yes, it's very disappointing. You don't want a brand new bridge.
I patched the old one a few times.
The county built the old one.
And we built it, and then we ended up patching it. But we built out of used steel.
Yeah.
This is truly a shame.
Concrete forms.
Yeah,
That this has occurred.
Yes, it
And
has.
it'll be interesting to see how it proceeds to the.
I'm not an engineer, but beams on the outside, how much weight's out there?
Well, and the other thing that is, no matter what repair is made, whether we demanded an entirely new bridge or this repair is made, this is another closure for a fairly heavily traveled
No, it's
street.
a highly traveled road, and we got 158th Street coming up next year. We've got to do this, but it's a tough one.
Bill, what's the maintenance warranty? Is there a 2-year or 3-year? Is there any kind of
It's
bond
gonna
that we set aside for
There's
that?
going to be an extended maintenance period. We're started over in this agreement with new bonds. The issue that we'll have, this is a
After we're
concern,
gone.
is
Yeah, I
it
know.
will last 2 years. The 2-year period, unless you have some sort of error in the construction of this, it's not the 2-year time frame. These bridges are supposed to last 60 to 75 years. And typically, a galvanized structure, that's why they went with that. It should last at least 75 years. But it's that 40-year mark or 30-year mark that you think about as what was the future maintenance requirements of this bridge based upon.
And we inspect bridges every year, every 2 years?
Every two.
But if you had a 2-year on it and something was happening with that bridge that wasn't correct, you'd be able to tell it then, and then they'd have to come back and we'd do this all over again.
But typically, when would they start a biannual inspection on a new bridge? How many years?
Well, it'd be in the next cycle.
Next cycle.
The next cycle. So it'll be inspected at the completion of the project, and then based on current cycles, it would be inspected right before the end of that second year.
Okay.
But I have more of a concern, honestly, with ensuring we have an inspector out there from Finney and Turnipseed on site the entire time, and that they don't try to swing the beam in over the railing from above the deck and set it in place from above, because you're loading the outside railing that's already
you have a crane.
the weakest part of the bridge with a crane. So you've got to load it from underneath, and you've got to make sure there's an inspector on site to make sure that the contractor is not working from the bridge deck that is not load rated correctly in the first place.
So you're going to have to do some dirt work underneath, and that'll be a permit.
Well, it probably won't require a permit because it's not going to disturb an acre again, and it's not going to be a stream obstruction. It could require a stream obstruction permit, but it wouldn't require a SWIP.
Yeah.
Well, the only good thing is if Baser keeps growing like it's growing, there'll be a 4-lane out there and before this bridge fails.
Okay.
It's a tough one, I'm telling you. I feel your concern.
Well, I will. If there's no other questions for Bill, I will entertain a motion.
I guess it's my area. I'll have to swallow this one. All right, I move we approve agreement with Benish to allow them to pay Don Langer Construction directly for the repairs of Bridge F46.
Second.
Motion and a second. Begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we need to consider. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, now we need to consider a motion to approve Resolution 2023-31 as amended resolution revising Section 4A8 of Resolution 2023-24 to provide for the general composition of the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board and allow for additional members as authorized by state statute.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Misty.
All right, I think maybe this will be a bit better. So what you have before you is a resolution that would amend the original resolution that established the Leavenworth County JCAP. About 2 meetings ago, staff was directed to bring forward an amendment to this resolution that would allow the Commission to appoint up to 6 members as allowed by state statute. And so that's what you have before you. It's just amending that one section. The original resolution, when I drafted it, just copied the original thing that this board did, and this just expands it as state statute allows.
Right.
And
That's what we asked for.
I believe that we had Commissioner Stephen, who had expressed an interest in serving on the JCAB. Is that correct? And I believe we also have Commissioner Doug Smith, who was willing to continue serving on that. So that would bring us up to 6 at that point. Is that correct? 5.
So last meeting, you appointed 3 folks and
Right.
another for the education
Right.
representative. And so first you would pass this resolution making the amendment, and then you could appoint up to 3 additional people if you chose.
Okay, so
Need to pass this first.
Motion
Right.
to approve the resolution is presented.
right. Motion to approve I'll accept a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, and then now we will go ahead and
Do we need to advertise these positions?
Well, we had the other ones advertised, and they were filled.
I think this is, the intent of the commission is to appoint commissioners.
Two on the
Right,
commission.
two commissioners was
Yeah.
what I thought we had indicated we wanted to do,
We
so.
still have to fill that third one, or doesn't have
We don't
to be
have to
filled?
fill it. It's
Okay.
just available to fill at the pleasure of the commission. But I just know that we had Commissioner Stephen who had expressed that he'd like to serve
Yep.
this time
Yep.
on that,
So
so,
if we had somebody that approached commissioners about wanting to serve, we could fill that position.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve Commissioner Stephen and Commissioner Doug Smith to the JCAB board.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Again, voting with myself, aye.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Don't like voting for myself. I didn't even vote for
Follows your
myself in
lead.
the election.
All right. Well, let's do our presentations and discussion items. Anybody have
Thank you,
anything
Ms.
they'd like to share for the, I'll start with myself. Yesterday, I attended the Athena Awards banquet, and Mrs. Marcia Irvine was the recipient of the award, and it was well-deserved. She's a really active individual in our community, and congratulations to her. And we can continue later, but we'll go ahead and let the clerk is returned so we can reconvene.
Yeah.
Okay. I move that we adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of County Canvassers.
Second.
Motion is second. Begin voting for myself. Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries.
I had said that we had 52 provisionals, and that is the number of provisionals that we counted. We did have 2 observers that watched the process. It made no difference in any of the races except Lansing Ward 4 City Council, which we had previously talked about. And Pete Robinson did win that race by 1 vote.
Wow.
So it was Pete Robinson, 249, and Greg Bueller, 248.
Every vote counts.
Never think that it doesn't either.
I think that is really important to emphasize,
Yeah.
that every vote does count. And these are very important races. Anything local, school, and city are just as important as some of our bigger elections.
And Janet, what was the percentage of voter turnout again?
19.
19% showed up to vote.
And something that I got educated about, and I just thought it was interesting, it was like one of those little things, did not know that, was when it was a tied election for that position, that I had no idea that the way to resolve that is to toss a coin.
Yeah. We had to do that in Lansing in 1980. I
No,
remember it
I
well,
just-
yeah.
I just thought that was
Wow.
really interesting. So, it didn't come down to a coin
Yep.
toss, fortunately, but it could very well have,
Yeah.
and that's why every vote counts. Every person should
Yeah.
take that opportunity to vote.
That's right.
If it was different, Doug. It was different to watch it. They had the council chambers. It's interesting.
We, neither one of these candidates approached me for a recount, but there was a call made into the office about it. And if a recount is requested upon this race, it is up to the candidate to request it. They pay a bond to me. Really, they write a check. Is what they do.
Right.
And we will hold that probably, if it's requested, they have until 5 o'clock tomorrow night to request it. Then I will hold the recount on Monday. Just so, in case it does
Right.
come up. I'm going to have you guys sign this. I will also have another summary report for you to sign, but I ran this one just now because I know that a lot of the public were interested in this race.
Okay, do we need to vote first? We need to have a motion. I will consider a motion to certify the 2023 general election.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion is second. I'll begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thanks, board.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Good job.
Just the chairman or all of?
No, you all need
All
to
need to
sign.
sign. You can sign up there on
Just on the
file.
front?
Why don't we, right where we have the thing at the top.
You tell me whatever you want. I'll sign. It's kind of interesting. Madam Chair?
Well, we're up to 4
One
elections
vote.
next year, guys.
Yeah.
Good job. So, it's going to be a busy year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right, not for us.
Baser School District's going to have one. That's going to be February 15th. And we'll have our presidential primary March 19th.
That's right.
The office election in November.
And are we
We
still
also-
looking at the Port Authority?
We might have a township also.
What about the possibility of the Port Authority having a,
I thought that was a general election, though, more than likely. On one of the other elections.
okay.
Boy, that is a lot. You're right.
Do we have to get in shape for next year, or? Hopefully you still have, hopefully you have all your same volunteers and staff and all that, because it's going
Next
to be a
year,
big one.
we'll double the amount of election workers
Yeah.
that we had this year.
You have to.
In fact, there'll maybe be places that we triple that number for the presidential election.
Whenever the presidential, yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys.
Well,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Jan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
Motion? I'm
All right,
ready.
I move that we adjourn as the Board of County Canvassers and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 Very much. We are now reconvened as the Board of County Commissioners.
And you were on a roll.
And I was on a roll. Well, I just
All right.
well, I just wanted to congratulate Marcia because it was a well-deserved
Oh, yeah.
person
Absolutely.
to receive that award.
Right.
And then
Good person. Good person.
last week I attended the LCDC meeting, and that was pretty much it for me. I'm getting ready after this meeting to go to the Transit Authority meeting. So, oh, it's a very short meeting. Yes, but
All I have was a parade to report on, and three of us.
And we were styling.
Jeff's car got a lot of compliments, but we didn't. So,
That's
did
true.
you get the top up and down on?
I did.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's all anybody would talk. They didn't care about county
That's-
commissioners.
that's
They just
right.
talk about Jeff's car.
I think you could have sold it halfway through the parade.
That's
Yeah.
a Canadian car,
Then you
right?
would have been.
Yeah, I've been in trouble then.
I know how to sell it now.
Yeah, just look for
He knows
sale.
how to not to go back and forth into Canada too now. huh?
Yeah. Some go there.
Okay, Commissioner Stephen.
I did meet with the administrator, George, and his assistant over at Tonganoxie, and we did discuss a number of issues. And hopefully move that forward. And tomorrow we have the legislative breakfast.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yep.
then there's a economic development breakfast I'm going with Tom tomorrow.
Well, that's right. I'm going to attend the Northeast Kansas official meeting in Seneca.
Yeah, that's right. You had that.
Good.
going?
Good. Right.
No, but I know you got
Yeah,
something
no,
to pass
I'm
out.
going. I'm
Yeah.
going.
Okay, Commissioner.
Just a parade in Leavenworth City meeting last night. That's all I had this week.
And I can't say enough. Was it 72 Oldsmobile? Is that what it is? What a nice ride. Anyway, I went to the LCDC VIP event. Again, the legislative breakfast, which has been brought up. And, of course, I was very impressed with what's been going on downstairs in the Register of Deeds. We had that ribbon cutting or microfilm cutting today.
Right, we were there this morning.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's very impressive. That's all I had, Madam Chair.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else, then I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I was
Oh,
wondering
okay,
if,
one more thing with Commissioner
like,
Stephen.
Yeah, I think maybe the Register of Deeds would like to say a couple words.
Again, I just wanted to say my thanks to the board for your support since I took office in 21. We've moved at a phenomenal pace, and I have to give my staff credit. I just am so blessed to have the team that I have. They hit a record 270 documents back indexed in one day last week. And at that pace, we should have our entire land records indexed, which means searchable, within about 6 years.
Good.
So, anyway, I'm very, very pleased to help the public research our records faster and more efficient.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you and
Thank
your
you.
staff. I know your staff and you put a lot of hours in doing this. A lot of hours, and they weren't necessarily working hours during the working hours.
Thank you.
They were extra hours, and
Yes, I see the lights on.
You know, and
at night.
there's an investment made, and there should be a return on the investment on everybody being able to do this online and have legible documents.
Yeah, I had an issue.
Thank you.
Walked in your office 2 weeks ago, and y'all were, in fact, you helped me, but your staff did on an alert I had on on the mortgage and things like that. So I appreciate the help. But congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I have to put a plug in for property fraud alert because at the parade was talking with a realtor and a closing for her was held up because there was a $36,000 HELOC loan the owners had no idea was
Wow.
on their property.
Yeah.
I said if they'd have had property fraud alert, they'd have known it that day or the next.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
But
thank
and we
you.
don't want to be like the lady in Platte County.
Oh, yeah.
That is.
That-
Did you see that
That's
on the news?
horrible.
Yes.
It's horrible. That is legal to do that.
That's Recorder
unbelievable.
Christopher Wright in Platte City, that's in his county, and I'm on a national task force against property fraud with him. He's doing an amazing fight for that woman behind the scenes.
Unbelievable.
It's sad that they
It
have
is.
to have
Yeah.
But it's 3 years into it.
3 years and thousands of dollars.
It's
Thousands
awful.
of dollars.
Yeah.
And the lady did nothing wrong.
That's right.
Right. No, it's
That's right.
awful. It is.
That's a good
awful.
reason why I'm trying to get some legislation through next session. Not forestall it before it hits Lebanon.
We should plug for that tomorrow.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
I plan to.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I had a motion. Mike, did you second it? Somebody second it?
Sure, I said.
Okay.
One second. Aye.
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 We are adjourned.